let's do it. After that, we have Star Citizen Live, so we can watch that, I guess.
Rastar, first introduced to
Rastar.
development at CitizenCon 2951, is a tool that allows developers to easily place and manipulate structures on the surface of planets and moons in systems Stanton, Pyro, and beyond. And in the time since, work's progressed to stabilize and shore up the tech so the team can use it on a whole host of locations, from the most recent derelict settlements to a reconfiguration of existing UGFs in the upcoming Alpha 320.
Currently in the Stanton system, there are 70 underground facilities, or UGFs as we call them. And when these were built a couple of years ago, we had the kit.
Let me remind you, during CitizenCon last year, when they showcased the new UGFs, the big ones, they said, which they haven't said prior to that as far as I know, that they built these little shitty bunkers for CitizenCon 2018, and they had like 1 or 2 weeks to build them just to have something. So it's the minimal viable product, Citizen, at its best, by just like having that just to showcase it for what's it called, for fucking CitizenCon, and then just leave it in for the next 5 years for the players to fuck around with, because it's the same fucking bunker. Actually, I think there's like two different bunkers, but the interior is basically the same all around the verse, and it's shit.
To build a wide variety of these assets. However, due to technical limitations, we weren't able to realize their full potential. At that time, we had 70 locations.
So bear in mind that they said, because I watched this already, bear in mind that they said that because of the technical limitations, they couldn't reach their full potential, right?
Their full potential. At that time, we had 70 locations, but we only had 2 security UGFs and 2 drug UGFs. This isn't a case of we haven't had enough assets or enough time to do the art. Up until this point, we have all the things that we need to do the job. The Raster tool has really just allowed us to take this to the next level. We are now able to go back and to revisit these 70 locations to create a wide amount of variety so that each location doesn't look like a copy-paste version of the other. This has allowed us to really go back, spend some time with these locations and help them realize their full potential.
Let's see the full potential, please. What's going on with the big underground complex that they were talking about a few months ago? They actually talked about that a year ago almost during CitizenCon, and then a couple of months ago they made like a update ISC where they talked about it again, but they're still working on it. So
our in-house planetary location building tool. It uses an RTS placement system combined with modular elements to allow the artists to build locations at the surface of planets and celestial bodies.
We know, like, if you're not new to Star Citizen, you already know what a Rastar is, because they showed us Rastar maybe fucking 8 times in the past year or so.
We highly focus on usability and stability to make tool rock solid. It's a small project by 3 people, Mark, Nice, and I, and we are excited for the developers to be able to use it now.
It's a small project by 3 people.
These are not the new UGFs
in a company of 1100
in events like CitizenCon. These are just the same old UGFs, but we've just given them a fresh coat of paint, and we're going to be placing them alongside the existing locations and just giving them a bit of a refresh. Let me show you how Raster works in the engine. So here we are on Daymar. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of the Rastar tool in action and how we build up a location from scratch. So the first thing that we would usually do, not in this case with the UGS because they already have predefined locations, but we do a little bit of location scouting on the planet to find a nice, cool location. So I'm going to open up the Rastar tool over here, and the first thing that I need to do is create a location. Before I go any further, I do need to say that the UI for the Rastar tool as it stands is not the final version that the players are going to see at the end of the day. This is purely for artistic and
okay, so
purposes.
Before we continue, if you don't know, I gotta say it, this Rastar thingy, at one point, we're gonna use it to make our bases. And that is why he's saying that this is not the final product. And all
I will
that.
say it has definitely come a long way in the 2 years that I've been using it. So the first thing we do is we create a location.
There's like better
we get
UI
this
now,
grid
I
on the
guess.
ground over here, which allows us to define the location size and apply different effects and statuses to the location. We have some settings for the aesthetics like dirt and wear, which I can get into in a little bit. But the first thing that I want to do is create a much larger location size because I know that
He's
want
not
to
gonna get
cover
into
quite
it,
a
by the way.
large footprint.
Probably forgot.
And then we're going to go ahead and add an element from the UGF main buildings.
Legacy. This is all legacy, and then you have like new things, and then you have UGF legacy main buildings, and then you have all the clusters, etc., etc.
And let's add a drug one to the mix over here. So that's going to be the base building that everything is dressed around. That's going to be the center point of this location. The cool thing that Rastar...
All right, so bear in mind again, legacy main building default 001, 002, 003, 004. And then you have main drug building 001, 002. So they have 6 different bunkers that we already have in the game. And when I say bunkers, they all look the same outside, basically. Maybe they have some difference, but there's like only 2 layouts when you get inside the bunkers themselves, right? As far as I remember, there's only 2. Or at least they're so fucking similar that all 6 of them look like there's only 2 layouts inside the bunkers. So he's using the same bunkers again, and the whole video, the rest of the video, is him using raster to like have shit around the bunker. He never showcased what's inside because it's just one of the bunkers that we have. And this is what raster
enables us to do is also have certain modifiers.
Sure. I like how this can help you to make better locations. But it's just the exterior. The gameplay bit is inside, and it's always the fucking same.
And volumes applied to our object containers, so that, for example, if I were to move this location up,
this is
the
cool.
terrain would automatically conform to
other
the
engines
ground
have that,
needs
but
to be.
sure.
That just saves artists a lot of time from having
As far
to
as
do
I
these
remember,
sort of
even
things manually, and allows us to focus
Prices
on
had
the
that.
creative side of things. The next thing we need is 3 turrets. These turrets, depending on whether you are at a security UGF or a drug UGF, will react in different ways to the player. Obviously more hostile in a drug environment.
Yeah, SimCity had that, but this is an engine. Like, it's not made for gameplay purposes, right?
Just dotted around the place. And these currently don't have any turrets spawned on them, but they do that when I hop into game. The next thing we want to do is we want to focus on large to small shapes and dressing. So the first thing I might do over here when walking through this process is...
Exactly, it's an asset collection placement tool. That's what it is. But they're not building the assets. That's the issue. They still have the same assets from like 5 years ago that they're just like placing around. The bunker is still the same. So what's the difference between this and the rest of them? Oh, well, the exterior layout is a bit different. Who fucking cares? There's no gameplay outside.
Larger clusters, these shipping containers.
Yeah, this will be used on for base building.
The UGFs are used for storage
in like
as well
10
as
to 15 years
research,
from now.
So having
Maybe.
ample space for storage outside as well as in is always good to have. And now I just want to define like the footprint of the space, so dividing it up into sub areas as well as the larger UGFs. So we can have, you know, maybe some structures like research stations and habitation.
See, that's a really good question, Jim Flack. Is CAG a game maker or a tool maker? They're only making tools for now. Like that's, well, they are making a game, but they're still making tools like Rastar and like other shit. Because in Rastar, you also have, I forgot the name of it, but you can make stuff look different. At least they showcased that for what's it called on Pyro. During CitizenCon, there was like a presentation of Rastar, and then they were like making the exterior look different and the interior with like different assets inside. But it was like a complementary app for raster. I forgot the name of it, but yeah. So also on top of that, they did the issue console. Turbulent made the issue console. They sold it to Ubi for Rainbow Six Siege. So it feels like they're making tools to make even more money before they actually put out a fucking game or give us any gameplay. That's the weirdest part. But yeah,
on the exterior.
the raster
and
really
just break
changed that
into
dramatically? No,
little-
it's just
little
different UIs.
branches
It's
of
still the same shit.
spaces.
There's no difference.
We might have one over here, and then maybe let's spread this location out a little bit. Maybe let's have a little bit of dressing near these turrets. So grab one of these clusters.
Not only did this
cool thing with
whole
Raster,
video
you
is
can do
boring as
quick-
fuck, but also you can see that he just doesn't care. Hopefully this is not going to be the end product that we're actually going to see on Daymar, because he just does not care about placement, about the placements of assets outside, which is the only thing that he does here. And he doesn't care how this affects gameplay at all.
rotates before you place stuff, so you have a good idea of what stuff
So why would you hide the turret behind these
is going to
boxes
look
here?
like before you do. Just like to get a little bit of unevenness.
And even raise them, so the turret that is here will not be able to shoot from here. Actually, the turret will be able to shoot through the boxes because AI and like turrets can just shoot through shit. Well, turrets, they mostly can't, but sometimes they actually do. But you will not be able to hit it. So
the terrain
because it
over
looks
here
cool?
helps
Sure.
things from feeling too flat. And let's get one of these larger structures in the back over here, these sort of like chimneys. So this is how I would normally go about creating like 3 distinct separate locations, even within one larger point of interest. So now the point from this afterwards would be to just create paths leading to and from the UGF that would naturally draw the player in, and then to set dress with smaller elements. So there's some more functional things that I do need to do first. For example, the UGF does come with these 3 floodlights, but we might need extra areas of illumination elsewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and place some extra floodlights around here. When
those lights barely
the
work.
raster tool is turning red like that, it's just doing a collision check on all of the objects around it to make sure I'm not placing anything on top of each other and just making sure everything is kept neat and tidy. So I might need to just place it over there, and then if I want it closer, I can always snap it to a surface closer.
Sure.
Now that everything should be able to be visible at any time of day or night.
Oh, we're gonna
since
talk
we're
about the
working
shift
with a very
pokers
dynamic time of day
in a
over
second.
here. Now I want some more functional things like roads leading up towards the UGF. So we have these over here.
So these roads are not even roads; they're just like little like poles, light poles, I guess, that don't even light up the place, but they're there, and you can't really land on them, and then you get like your ship stuck on them. And it would be better if they weren't there at all, but no, for some reason they just like putting them always at the fucking entrance. And where do you want to land? You want to land at the fucking entrance. You don't want to land here. You want to land at the entrance. But yeah.
Might be a little bit small to see. Just like a generic path that leads up to the UGF. I'm just going to do a quick rotate over these. And then, of course, all of our normal editor functionality is also linked to the raster location. So, for example, if I want to align this road to the UGF, then I can just rotate that, make sure everything's nice and centered and where it needs to be. Okay, so now that I have my roads placed, I have my floodlights placed, I know I'm not going to be crashing into anything in terms of placing stuff at the raster location. Now I can go ahead and do a little bit of dressing around here. So getting in some small shapes, just some scatter around the location. Then I'll go ahead and grab some of the more functional looking things. That one. Structure 8. It's a big.
I see what you're saying in chat. If it's so easy to do, why not place a bunch of them all over planets and moons? Well, we have a bunch of them all over planets and moons. But what kind of gameplay do they offer? Nothing. It's always the same. Oh, you go in there and you kill a bunch of guys. Oh, you gotta protect the bunker from a bunch of guys that you gotta kill, which is still the same fucking thing. It's not even procedural generation. No, we don't need procedural generation, dude. We need actual level designers that are gonna make what is it called? Fucking Orison, the Siege of Orison, or Horizon, or whatever, was one of the they showed that they have actual level designers that can make an FPS level. Why don't we have those in Star Citizen? That are not just events. I don't know. But then, fucking 5 years after we already got the bunkers, he's still showcasing 2023, fucking August. I'm almost 36, by the way. I'll be 36 in 5 days now. In 5 days from now, it's my birthday. And they're using the same fucking bunkers again. From 5 years ago.
Shapes over here that we can surround.
What's the point?
Go have the terrain.
Thank you very much. It's in 5 days from now.
Then
but
bring in
more variation in layout. Exactly. So who needs to do that? It's either what are they called? Fucking level designers, or you gotta have a guy that or people level designers or asset designers that are going to design a bunch of assets that you're going to place inside of those bunkers so you can make them different. And also, make the interior completely fucking different. But no, it's always the same. And on top of that, what are we talking about when, the peak of gameplay in Star Citizen is having... Thank you, guys. Happy birthday. The peak of having fucking gameplay in Star Citizen is having spawn closets. Do you remember? Can you tell me of any other game in 2023 that has spawn closets? Spawn closets, I remember them from Doom series from the 90s, Quake series. And that's it. That's fucking it. Maybe Serious Sam had spawn closets in those enclosed arenas. Destiny and Warframe, I never played them. They have spawn closets. That's shit. Are they so visible? Can you see the spawn closet opening and then them just getting out? If we're talking about immersion, I don't know. I never played Destiny, Chris. But tell me how they do it. But if you're talking, if this game is supposed to be immersive, how is it immersive with spawn closets? At least try to hide them, right?
Just got to make sure that things aren't intersecting or clipping between each other too much, because that never looks good. And let's start building this out a little bit more. So this is the process that we follow to create a fully fledged location. We set dress all the different elements. We play it from a player perspective because sometimes scale can be a little bit funny up in the air like this. But this is the general process that we go through in order to create these locations.
Yeah, but Destiny is not a really old game.
Essentially. So yeah, that is a quick little sneak peek at the raster tool and how it allows us to...
So I watched this yesterday, and at this bit I just started laughing because what the fuck was this episode?
To very quickly iterate on our different locations and to make changes very quickly, and also to realize the potential of locations that we dropped years ago, but now that this tool really allows to let them shine.
So one thing for raster is to move away from building block, which gave us a really great start, to further integrate it into the editor.
And again, these are not the new UGFs. These are just the new UGFs. Someone from the law or the story department probably needs to come up with a better name for that. But we're not erasing any of the work we've done in the past. We're just building upon and improving. And these will sit alongside.
I wouldn't even considering them being new UGFs, if they're gonna be the same inside, the exterior, like the exterior layout is a bit different now, but it's still like the same thing.
Like
So
the big, colossal UGFs when they are released.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that Rastar may still
yeah,
run
exactly.
on
You can do this in
programmer
Arma
art, but
3.
it's a fully armed and
You could have done this in Crysis 3 because Crysis 3 had a level designer.
operational tool already in use by our developers. That with it, the existing UGFs limited to
And
only
you know what? This game is based on CryEngine from Crysis 3.
4 variations until now are finally realizing their customization potential in the upcoming Alpha 320, and that its next evolution already well underway. Now, don't forget that this year's Ship Showdown is right around the corner. Of course, it's your annual chance to vote on which flyable ship has to become John Crew's favorite each and every year. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
Bye. Am I being a piece of shit here? Like, look, some people are saying, well, this is just like pre-Citizen Con hiatus. But do they really not have anything to show us for the whole fucking year now? It's not just like pre-Star Citizen hiatus. This one was bad. This one was like one of the worst things ever. What is this? I forgot what is that. Yeah, I was absent during these. Oh yeah, this is like they're changing Portal SR. So, like, was there a single one that was good? A single ISC that was good in the past? I don't know. Since last Citizen Con, maybe 3 of them were good, and that's it. Like, I'm fucking speechless. It seems like this year they just didn't do anything, honestly. Or they don't want to show us anything. You know what? What was the best fucking part about it? It was the ISC with them having conversations in meetings about, what is it? Fucking server meshing. And it was like it was supposed to be a series, and then they just gave up because nobody liked it. Because then people realized that they just started working on server meshing. It really seems like they don't have anything to show us for the past year. Anyway, since this is going to go on YouTube, on my main channel, I'm just going to finish it off with this. Thank you for watching, and thank you to all my subscribers and patrons and members on YouTube. I forgot the name. If you want to subscribe. If you want to become a member or support me on Patreon, you can. Also, there's merch. The merch is glorious. I have added, by the way, even for the chat, I have added a bunch of new merch, like summer 2023 collection and all of that. Then I'm going to show you after this outro. And thank you for watching again. And don't forget to bring a towel when you're traveling through space. And bye.